just a hints and tips video for the first exercise and actually solutions as well. So do not watch this video until you've done the exercise. Hopefully you haven't had any problems, but I imagine some of you might request some help. So just going through some of the questions here. For question 2, if you're told to go from A to D, so for example, part D here, you want to go from A to D. The problem is you can't go straight down because there's no vector given to you. So you're going to have to go this way, and then this way. So that means you're going to go A plus B. And then in this case, because the arrow is pointing in the wrong direction that you're going, it's going to be take away 2A. And then you can simplify it. So it becomes A minus 2A is negative 1A plus B. Now, you can actually use that knowledge later on when we get to the harder questions, and you can actually say, well, actually, negative A plus B is this direction here. So that is the name of that vector. And then if, again, in a harder question where you have multiple parts, maybe you need to go from A to B, and there's a diagram kind of continues on with other parts of the shape, you can just use that as a shortcut because you've worked it out. Go from D to B. Again, in this case, I'm working backwards on purpose here because I want to use some ideas. We'll go from D to B. Obviously, you can't go straight across like that, so you have to go this way and then that way, and you end up with negative. You end up with 2A minus B. Now, notice here we can actually, because we worked out AD, we can actually go this way as well. So that now, because we're going in the opposite direction, that's going to become A minus B. That's this one here. So going A minus B. And then we're going to go from A to B, which is just A, so plus A. So that becomes negative B plus 2A. And you can see in either case, you get the same answer. Negative B plus 2A is the same thing. Question 3, again, we don't have Kn. So to work out Kn, we're just going to have to go around like that way. To work out Nk, you're just going to go this way. But what you also may have noticed in your answers is these two are opposites of each other. So if you're going from Kn, and you know that Kn is equal to negative 2A plus B, well, that must mean that Nk, oh, sorry, you have to use capital letters. That's very wrong not to do that. So Kn, that's telling you that Nk is just going to be this multiplied by negative 1, or in other words, the signs change. So that becomes 2A minus B, and you can see that here. So 2A minus B is Nk. Now, for question 5, I have just a little animation here. So if FA is equal to A, then which other vectors are in the diagram are equal to A? Well, you can see that if that's A, well, this must be A. So in other words, EO. DC will be A. OB will be A. And then FB is equal to B. So in that case, you can also see that if FB is B, then, well, EC must also be equal to B. Notice also if you're going in the opposite direction, then they just become negative. Now, what's important here is I've just done this for illustration purposes, but if I actually drew the vectors on here, I would have to have an arrow showing which direction I'm going and which direction is positive. Now, looking at the questions, if I go back to here, you can see working out some questions. If we're going from A to B, well, again, we don't have that vector given to us. So instead, we're going to have to go down and then up that way. So that, in other words, we're going negative A plus B, which you can see here. And the next one is FO. So going from F to O. Now we have to be a bit creative and think about how can I go from F to O if I've only been given these two? Well, that's the reason I did the previous slide. We know that all of these vectors up here that are parallel are equivalent to A. To go from F to O, what we can do is go take this route here, which is just B, and then come down to get here. And that's going to be negative A, so B minus A. So to get from F to O, we can go B minus A, or negative A plus B, like it's shown here, both the same thing. To go from A to O, again, let's be creative and think about this. So what we can do is we can go this way, we can go down, we can go across, and then we can go down again. So that means negative A plus B minus A, so that's B minus 2A. Now, if you think of it a bit like a game or trying to find a route, like a puzzle, is actually quite a nice topic if you think about it. If you want to figure out how can you get from one place to another using only certain letters. And FD, so this time we're going to go from here to F to D. So I might, for example, go up. In fact, I might go this way. Then I'm going to go down all the way. Then I'm going to go across again, and then I'm going to go down. So that means this is B, the first one. Then I'm going down twice, and that's negative 2A. Then I'm going up again, so that's plus B, and then I'm going down again, that's negative A. So B plus B is 2B, negative 2A minus A is negative 3A. Now, the interesting thing here is I could have actually done other routes too. I'm not going to show you all of those, but you will get this. You will always get the same answer either way, just like the example I showed you. So those are the hints for exercise 1 on vectors. I'll see you in the next video.